Some routes don't have final stops. Marcus's ragged breathing echoed through the empty bus as he frantically pulled at the doors. They wouldn't budge. Something cold brushed against his neck, a touch that shouldn't exist. He turned slowly, facing what was once merely plastic and cloth, now watching him with hollow eyes that somehow saw everything. The mannequins had been still just moments ago. Now, one by one, their heads were turning toward him. That morning had started like any other for Marcus Chen. Urban exploration camera in hand, hiking boots laced tight. His online followers craved the thrill of abandoned places, and Marcus delivered. The tip about something unusual deep in Harker Woods came from an anonymous comment. Normally, he'd ignore those, but the GPS coordinates were too precise to be random. The forest path eventually opened to a small clearing, and there it stood, a city bus, Route 66, consumed by nature as if the forest had been slowly digesting it for decades. "This is going to get so many views," Marcus whispered, snapping preliminary photos of the rusted behemoth. Vines embraced the chassis like possessive fingers, while faded graffiti told stories of visitors long gone. The bus door was partially ajar, grinding in protest as Marcus pushed it wider. The interior smelled of mold, rust, and something else, something chemical and artificial. "Holy shit," he whispered, his voice absorbed by the stillness. The seats weren't empty. In each row sat mannequins, department store dummies dressed in decaying business attire, positioned like commuters frozen in time. Their blank faces were oddly pristine despite the decay around them. Marcus moved cautiously down the aisle, documenting everything. "This is some high-level art installation," he narrated for his future video. As the sun began to dip behind the trees, the interior darkened, transforming the mannequins' empty expressions into something more sinister, more watchful. The first sign something was wrong, a distant mechanical groan, followed by lights flickering on the dashboard. "This can't be real," Marcus muttered, backing toward the door, which slammed shut with a decisive thud. The engine roared to life, vibrating beneath his feet. Marcus lunged for the door, yanking desperately at the handle that wouldn't budge. The bus lurched forward, throwing him off balance as it somehow navigated through trees that should have blocked its path. His phone displayed no service before dying completely, screen fading to black like a final goodbye. Through grimy windows, impossible scenes unfolded. They were suddenly on city streets Marcus didn't recognize, passing under streetlights that cast no reflection inside. The driver's seat remained empty, yet the wheel turned with deliberate precision as they navigated an endless labyrinth of identical storefronts with mannequins posed in windows. Mirroring those seated behind him, a sound behind him, subtle at first, a soft scrape of plastic on fabric. Marcus froze, afraid to turn around. In the reflection of a darkened window, he saw it. A mannequin's head slowly pivoting, neck joints creaking, its blank face now aligned perfectly to stare at the back of his head. Then another turned, and another. "This isn't happening," he whispered, voice trembling. A flickering streetlight illuminated a newspaper stand they passed, the headline clearly visible for just an instant. "Mysterious disappearance of Route 66 bus, 41 passengers still unsolved." Marcus grabbed a metal handrail, using all his strength to smash it against a window. The glass rippled like water, but wouldn't break. Outside, the same storefront passed by for the third time, then a fourth, the city looping impossibly around itself while inside. The scraping sounds of movement grew closer. Hours or minutes later, time had lost meaning. The bus screeched to a halt with a hiss of brakes. Marcus stumbled forward, heart pounding. Through the windshield, he recognized his own front porch, his house number illuminated by the bus headlights. Relief flooded through him as the doors finally opened with a pneumatic sigh. He ran down the steps without looking back, keys fumbling in his shaking hands. Only after locking his door did Marcus notice the silence. No engine idling outside. When he finally gathered courage to peer through the blinds, the street was empty. No bus, no tire marks, nothing. For weeks afterward, he told himself it was an elaborate prank or hallucination. Until the morning he checked his mail and found a bus pass with his photo on it, issued in 1966, and that night he heard it, the distant rumble of an engine, growing closer, as the mannequin he'd now become waited for the route to begin again.